Big Sills! What a week to come back. Welcome aboard, everybody. What a gigantic week for the NFL. News is just dropping as we're going on the air here. It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. The NFL never takes a week off. And obviously, the Eagles are front and center with all the players that are exiting Philadelphia right now. I'm going to make this very clear to you, and I tweeted this out at Dan Sileo show. The Eagles played Moneyball, a form of Moneyball last year, and now they're paying for it. They're paying for it. That team was a one-year wonder. It was a one-year wonder because of all the one-year deals. This was not a team that was going to be put up. And people were going to start saying, this is a dynasty. How can you have a dynasty with 18 free agents? What, because you think your quarterback's good? That doesn't matter. Ask Dan Marino. If you don't have a team around your quarterback, I don't give a shit how good that guy under center is. You can't win. And as on March 13th, here is my prediction. Now, again, I may adjust this, but as of March 13th, the Philadelphia Eagles won't make the playoffs. You don't have a defense. How can you sit here? Oh, and by the way, Nakobe Dean and Jordan Davis, that's wishful thinking. That they're going to take over for TJ Edwards and Javon Hargrave. We'll get to those deals in a minute. You're not making the playoffs. You have half a team. Shitty special teams, turnover in coaches, and you're going to sit here and expect me to go, oh, they'll be okay because it's Howie vision. And you got to pay your quarterback. This is incredible. And people are leaving because why? Hometown discount was last year, friends. These guys are cashing in. They're cashing in on the Eagles' expense. You're going to lose your entire secondary, potentially. You lost your mainstay linebacker and your best defensive tackle. What do you want me to say? No. People are already going, well, wait a minute. We're going to be a... How? Where are you seeing that? Hargrave signs $84 million. He's getting $22 a year. 60 guaranteed. Bye. Eagles offered him 3 years at $51 million. Not even in the room. TJ Edwards is getting $7 million. Why would he stay in Philly? Oh, and you got to pay your quarterback. Your secondary's gone. Slay's like, I want to stay. Do they want you back? And from what I'm hearing, they're actively shopping him. By the way, just to give you guys some insight here, do you know who Drew Rosenhaus is? Do you know the guy who works for Drew Rosenhaus? His name is Robert Bailey. He went here. I contact him all the time. Are the Eagles shopping Darius Slay? Yes. They're trying to move him. I think either Jesse Bates or Darius Slay is going to be a Falcon. By the way, Seattle got outbid by the 49ers. Chicago and Seattle were all bidding on Javon Hargrave with big money. Philly was never in the room for him. But Jordan Davis, good luck on that. He hasn't showed me shit yet. Wow. The Philadelphia Eagles are not making the playoffs as of March 13th. You have no defense. Both tackles will be gone. You got Hassan Reddick. Kaiser White will be in the second day. He'll be gone. You got an entire defense to have to retool, and you think Howie's going to retool it. Oh, and signing a quarterback. How? I've been telling you this for 6 months. The team you saw in 2022, not even remotely close to the team that is coming back in 23. Now, here is 2 positives. Jason Kelsey's coming back for another season. Spectacular. Spectacular. Great news. Had an all-pro season. Great football player. Great for the locker room. And here's the other bit of good news for Philly. The NFC sucks. And if Aaron Rodgers does go to the Jets, that keeps Philly in the room. As we mentioned, Javon Hargrave, 4 years, $84 million. San Francisco 49ers. Get better again. You know why? They don't have to pay a quarterback. TJ Edwards, a new member of the Chicago Bears. Now, today is the day that teams can, quote, legally tamper and start putting deals together, because 4 o'clock on Wednesday, all these deals will drop. And then you're going to get a sense of what you really have on Wednesday as we lead up to that day. Garoppolo, not official until Wednesday, is a Las Vegas Raider, and Jalen Ramsey has been dealt from the Rams to the Dolphins. We'll get into all the particulars there. There's not a chance in hell as of March 13th that this guy's going to duplicate this again. I love how people go like this. Well, Howie will just draft a linebacker. He's never. What makes you think Howie Roseman is a good talent evaluator in the draft? Nakobe Dean hasn't done shit. Don't put that on that kid saying that he's going to take the place of some of the players that you're missing. How do you know that? From what I saw a year ago, the guy couldn't get on the football field. And what I watched of Jordan Davis, very unimpressive. Now, I will say this, and I was just telling Tone this. I'm not paying $22 million for a defensive tackle. I'm just not. I don't think that's a priority position. I told you the money positions in the NFL are corner, pass rusher, left tackle, quarterback, obviously, wide receiver, and I would even throw a tight end in the mix. And by the way, I'm going to make sure that I'm telling you this. Okay? There's no doubt. I think the Eagle offense, I don't really think you're going to miss a beat. But what's going to happen is Chip Kelly is going to rear its head again. What happens when they get stopped in a series and the other team scores? You're going to have to beat teams 38-35. And get this, don't have any injuries because you really don't have a lot of depth. What's happened in free agency to the Eagles is going to happen to all the successful teams. They annihilate your depth. Your coaching staff gets raided. This was a one-year wonder football team constructed by your GM. This wasn't something that was going to be lasting. And now you've got the decision on paying a quarterback $50 million with half a football team, which means you're going to be a non-player in free agency. Now, again, he does have one more year on his current rookie deal. So this is really going to affect the 2024 season. Okay? A lot of work to do. Here, Kelsey, congratulations. I'm really happy to see him back. Slay, what are you doing? What's the organization doing? Here's your question marks. Hargrave, gone. Bradbury, gone. CJ, they're hoping to resign. Hurts, when? Lane and Slay are going to redo their deals? Maybe. They'll get restructuring together with what they find out after Wednesday. There's no question the Eagles are doing this all in priority here. Watch this. Coordinators, what's left of the team after Wednesday is going to be essential in where they go or not go in free agency. I don't think the Eagles are going to be a player at all in free agency on the first 2 days. I think they're going to do it like they did a year ago, a version of Moneyball. Eagles played a version of Moneyball last year. All cheap deals, one-year deals. And get this, you're Billy Beane. Got to go back out and retool the team. You got to find a way to replace TJ Edwards in his tackles. You got to figure out how to replace Javon Hargrave in his sacks. And you guys are going like this. Hey, Jordan Davis has not done shit yet, and nor has the other guy. As a matter of fact, Nakobe Dean, everything I just told you is fact. Nothing I have said. I haven't ripped Jalen. As a matter of fact, Jalen Hurts, you know why Jalen is not saying anything right now about his deal? Because every day he sits there and doesn't say anything, the more money he's going to make. I can't believe the bums that are getting the money that they're getting. There's no question. Hurts is going to be in the $50 million range. That'll destroy the rest of the team. And the question will come back, the Eagles will be the Cowboys in 4 years. Or they'll be the Chiefs. I don't know, and nor do you. This is playing out exactly like Kansas City had to play it out when they became successful with their quarterback. The difference is that Mahomes can carry their team. We don't know if Jalen can. We have no idea. We have zero idea. You know why? He's only done it for a year. Carson Wentz did it for 2 years. You don't know. I don't know. To sit there to assume on March 13th is asinine. Asinine. The 49ers are by far the favorites in the NFC. Not close. It's San Francisco and everyone else. Some will go like this. What about the Eagles? Eagles don't have a defense. Eagles don't have special teams. Eagles got brand new coordinators. But you're as good as the 49ers. Really? Not true? And not remotely close from being true. Well, we're just going to go into the draft. You're not going into so you're going to tool your team with all rookies. Last year, you tooled them with veterans. This year, you're going to go rookies. Congratulations. We'll see. March 13th, not a chance in hell you make the playoffs. That football team right now is a 9-8 team at best. Can't stop anybody. You struggled a year ago against the run. Now you have all your components. Your secondary will be completely retooled. But people in Philly will tell you, you're okay. I don't give a shit what you guys say about wrong. There's nothing wrong on what's happened today. You lost your top tackler at linebacker. You're losing Bradbury. Slay has asked to be traded. No, they want to stay. Whatever. Gardner Johnson is looking at the money now that Javon Hargrave is getting on the open market. Why in the world would C.J. Gardner Johnson stay in Philadelphia when he sees the money that's out there? Why? He made $837,000 last year. Why on the planet would he stay in Philly for shit money? Howie offered Javon Hargrave dick money. He's going to make 20 plus million. That wasn't even in the room. You're losing your running back. You could probably get away with a guy in the draft. Wow. What a Monday. On NFL Legal Tampering Day is what they're calling it. Stupid. They should just stop this shit and start it. Because this is dumb. I mean, almost 90% of the big-time guys have gotten deals, and they're going to just wait for 4 o'clock on Wednesday. Okay? What's wrong with what I'm saying? Howie sucks at draft. You know, I heard people, and I kind of checked in last week, saying that Howie had a good draft last year. He did? How could you tell? No one played except the backup tight end. How could you tell? How could you tell if you had a good draft? How? Honestly, really? How could you tell? Nobody played. He did something that very few have been able to do. You know what that is? All those veterans, man. They really did come in as mercenaries, and they played their ass off. And you know what? They have no allegiance to the Philadelphia Eagles. Zero allegiance to you. And they're showing it. Even Hargrave. You know what he just said, Hargrave? Hey, F the Eagles, man. I just got $60 million guaranteed. They weren't going to come in that room. They were not even going to be close to being in that room. Seattle was. Same thing with all the rest of these signs, because you know why? What did I tell you about Brock Purdy? What did I tell you guys about Brock Purdy? I'd rather be in the 49ers position than in the Eagles position, because you got to pay a quarterback. There's a prime example. And they're going to restructure Nick Bosa a brand new contract. Wow. Who would you rather be right now? The Eagles with no defense? Or would you rather be the San Francisco 49ers with an entire team? And they're getting the Jags guy. They just lost a tackle to the Broncos. So what did they do in free agency? They signed the offensive tackle from Jacksonville, who was a pretty good player too. They got money to move around. Why? I have to play Jimmy Garoppolo anymore. And you got both quarterbacks on stupid, insignificant deals. And they made it to the NFC title game last year. How you doing? $50 million deals don't work. Building rosters is how you got to the Super Bowl. Purdy got you there, making less than $1 million. And they're relevant again. That's why San Francisco's relevant every year. And that's why you see the peaks and valleys with the Eagles. They're great peaks, though, but they're also horrific valleys. 4 wins, Super Bowl. You're never going to be consistent with that philosophy. Okay? You're just not. On a year-to-year basis, you're not. San Francisco will be in the NFC title game. The Eagles won't make the playoffs as of March 13th. All right. I don't know what else to say. I'll get to you guys here in a second. They're not going to go into free agency and spend money. They can't. Got a quarterback to sign. Got a quarterback to sign. Nothing. Remember something. Wrong again. Last year, I was the guy on March 10th of 2022 that told you were going to the Super Bowl. On March 13th, a year removed, I'm telling you, you ain't making the playoffs. I was right last year, and I'll be right this year. And you're going to pay your guy $50 million. so you can't sign anybody, and you have to hope he's Patrick Mahomes. I don't see it. He ain't Patrick Mahomes. He's not that good to carry a roster. He's not. Jalen Hurts is not that good that he can carry a roster. That means he has to carry the defense like Mahomes did. He can't. Won't be able to. And he's dual threat. Not happening. If that guy misses significant games, like he has the last 2 years, he's missed 3. That will get worse. They won't win any one of those ball games. Last year's roster, he sucked in the postseason except for the Super Bowl. He was spectacular in the Super Bowl. Divisional game and the NFC title game, he stunk. That guy cannot carry a football team. Hassan Reddick was the MVP of that postseason, not Jalen Hurts. Hurts played great in the Super Bowl. The other 2 playoff games, he stunk. March 13th, facts. Once again, spoken by Big Sills. I'm going to get over to start reading you guys, and I want to show you how pathetic you are. Watch. Hurts was hurt. Dual threat. Sills is right. You guys just don't want to face the pain and reality. It's okay. Bears stole the Eagles' 4th-round pick for Robert Quinn. Could come back to haunt you a little bit. 4th round's a quality pick. Sills has been sipping wine on his break. Joshua, no. Just been watching people leave Philly. I'm watching people leave Philadelphia and leaving the Eagles because they're not sticking around for shit money. Why would they? Javon Hargrave was offered a 3-year, $51 million deal. The Niners parachute in with a 4-year, $84 million. Dude, seriously, is Billy Beane your GM? Dude, he ain't getting lucky twice like that. Because you ain't going to get these guys on shit deals. Dude, those guys are watching the money. Are you not watching the money that's out there right now? Damn, Sills, you were quiet the postseason. We liked you. Now you're back to being salt. I don't get what that means, and I don't care what that means. Dude, wait a minute. Am I saying something that didn't happen today? Edwards is gone. $7 million. What's this? $7 million a year. Hey, Tone, make sure I'm right on it. $7 million being reported that the Bears are going to pay that guy. He made $1.2 million. If TJ Edwards can get $7 million a year, what do you think Gardner Johnson and Bradbury are going to get on the open market? They're extremely better players than that guy. What do you think those guys are going to get on the open market? They're going to get close to that tag money. They're good. Watch this. Bradbury making $15, $16 million and Gardner Johnson making $15, $16 million too. These are high-end guys. Sayamalo, he's going to get $15, $16 million. He may get $17 million. What aren't you seeing that I'm missing here that you think you have a good football team coming back? Oh, we're going to put Nakobe Dean. Nakobe Dean sucked last year. Sills, he didn't get on the field. Exactly. Steals of the draft, play. You got guys in the Philadelphia market doing wishful thinking. Oh, he's good because he played at Georgia. Really? Okay. I haven't seen it. So far, it's just talk. Lance says, so you know the obvious. What you have done in the situation if you were the Eagles, answer please. Okay. It's a great question, Lance. What do you do from here? Now, again, Lance, I'll tell you what the advantage is. You have a really good offense. Okay? And if Rodgers is no longer in the NFC, okay, and you get lucky with health and some rookie players and maybe some free agents, things might be good. Bobby goes, trust in Howie. Not in the draft. He sucks in the draft. He earned it from last year's roster he built. That was built with free agents, not with draft choices. Bobby, name me a corner he's drafted in his entire 20 years in Philly. Name me a pass rusher. Josh Sweat. 2 guys in 22 years? He can't draft linebackers. He can't draft corners. He can't draft elite receivers. It looks like Devontae could be one. Had to go get AJ. All these guys are covered. His shitty drafting is covered by free agency. He got lucky on Edwards. He was an undrafted. He was an undrafted FA. He was an undrafted free agent. He landed in Philly. Now he's getting $7 million in Chicago. I wouldn't say Howie's an idiot. That's not where I'm going. By the way, great deal maker, great in free agency. He is. He is really good at hires. Marginal at drafting. Okay? Eagles have no defense right now. The entire secondary will have to be rebuilt by rookies or free agents. Your linebacking core will be completely rebuilt. Your defensive tackles will be completely having to have rebuilt. And by the way, if Jordan Davis was so damn good, why couldn't he beat out Sue and Linville Joseph by the end of the year? How come those guys were playing more than him? Oh, he was hurt. How many snaps did he get in the Super Bowl? 10? Because he was playing too high and got drilled off the ball. I'm not saying Davis is awful. We'll see what he does come. I'm not going there. And I'm not even going there with N'Kobe. Don't sit here and tell me on March 13th these guys are replacing veteran guys who had. By the way, think about this for a second. TJ Edwards played so well last year. And even though he couldn't cover tight ends, he's making $7 million annually. Not bad for a guy who was marginal. Javon Hargrave. Would you say Javon Hargrave is a great run stopper? Not really. He got $22 million per year. Per year. What do you think those secondary guys are going to? Those secondary guys have to be licking their chops. Bradbury and Gardner Johnson, their agents are probably looking at those guys going like this. Hey, man, you get in the open market, you're going to make max dollar. Max dollar. Edwards got 7. You know, it's not so much because I kind of get it with Hargrave with the 11 sacks. I kind of get it. I do. I still don't think he's the greatest run stopper. But you know what you get with Hargrave? You could put him on the nose. You could put him in a slant. You could put him in a 3 technique. You're able to move him all around on that 49er D-line now. 49ers got better. They got better. What apology tour, Richie? I said you were making it to the Super Bowl. I said your boy would never throw for 4,000 yards. Dual threat. Hey, no. It's not only Hargrave and Bosa. It's Hargrave, Bosa, Warner, and the safety, Hufanga. It's not just two guys. They got superstar players on every level in San Francisco. They got superstar players in their old line, running back, wide out. Some go, well, Sills, they didn't figure out the quarterback. They got to the NFC Championship game with a guy who was the last player taken in the draft. That shows you how good that freaking roster is. They didn't need. If they had Jalen Hurts on that team, they'd have won the Super Bowl by 20 points. They didn't even need a quarterback to get to the NFC title game. Jesus, man. If Christian McCaffrey's not playing quarterback for him, how far do they go? Can they beat Kansas City? I don't know. They got to the NFC title game with Christian McCaffrey playing quarterback. The Eagles, you could say all you want. Well, the 49ers got beat. You don't have a team right now. You don't have a team. I told you this 6 months ago, and I've been telling you, you ain't keeping all these guys. Howie Vision, he'll keep them all. They're running for the gates. Actually, they're running to the bank. And by the way, this is not a shot at the Eagles. You have a great year, you should get compensated for it. And that's what's happening here. They're getting compensated for their great year. You shouldn't begrudge them. They gave you a great season. Came up a tad bit short, but they gave you a great season for under market value money. What's the problem here? Oh, you should be. No, they shouldn't be. Why? The organization's not loyal to them and never will be. Howie's retooling. With what? Got to pay your quarterback. Retooling with what? Yeah, this is GT goes, they're retooling. They come in and offer Hargrave 3 years, $51 million. The Niners come in with 4 years, $84 million. Do you know that how insulting of a deal that must have been to Javon Hargrave when the Eagles' initial offer was 3 years, $51 million, and the Niners come in with 4 years, 60 guaranteed at $84 million? They must have laughed at him. That's all right. We're moving on. And the 49ers outbid Seattle. They had to. They're in the same division. Seattle wanted them. But you know what? Again, you know what blows my mind here? The money Edwards got. $7 million per. What? There's a lot of money out there in free agency. And don't tell me that, man, Miles Sanders is going to get paid. Probably not a gigantic market for him. Sayamalo's going to have at least 25 teams interested in him at top market value dollar. Kaiser White's going to get a nice little contract from someone, probably on the second day, Thursday. Bradbury's going to get a monster deal. I wouldn't be shocked if the 49ers, now the Bears could come in here, or the Bears or the Raiders could jump in this. They just signed Jimmy Garoppolo, too. Did the Raiders. Oh, man. Howie Vision. Boy, you better put those bifocals on, Junior. You got people running with the Brinks truck in front of them. How you doing? Howie comes in with $51 million on Hargrave, and the Niners go, I'll give you $22 million. They were offering him 16, 6 more per annually to come and play in San Francisco on a better defense next to Nick Bosa. Okay. Going to lose both your backers. Fletcher Cox is There's not a Fletcher Cox coming back. Why would Fletcher come back after watching Hargrave get $22 million? He had 7 sacks last year. Fletcher Cox goes in the open market. He ain't going to make 14.4. He'll make 8, and the Eagles are not offering him $8 million. Would somebody offer Fletcher Cox $8 million? 6 with incentives and a signing bonus? Yeah. Yeah. He'd be a steal. He would be what the Eagles did a year ago for some team, signing him to a 1-year deal at $8 million. That's what I would do. I would turn that right around. And if I were the Cowboys, I would offer Fletcher Cox a 1-year deal. Or the Rams. Rams are moving all kinds of players because they got to get draft choices. Because of that whole, they're talking of moving Matthew Stafford. The Rams are talking about moving Matthew Stafford. Because, you know, what's the most important thing in Los Angeles with the Rams right now? Sean McVay, keeping him happy. That coach has so much say in that organization right now. They want to, but they're paying him $20 million annually. What does Philly do? Super goes, he was terrible against the run, still like Hargrave. Don't have no problem with him. I'll take someone that can play the run and trade them sacks for it. Really? In a pass-happy league. Seals, you said Philly's $51 million offer was in the ballpark a month ago. Yeah, no. I didn't realize the amount. I just told you. I didn't realize the amount of money that was out there. I was stunned. I thought it was in the ballpark. I really did. Dude, Hargrave's a 20. I think Javon Hargrave makes more money now than Aaron Donald. Hey, Tone, I think the guy Payne who just signed in Washington, I think he's the highest paid defensive tackle. But dude, I think Hargrave now makes more money than Aaron Donald does. This guy makes $22 million a year. I don't know if he makes that. You're making Aaron Donald money? Donald is still ranked number 1. Payne is 2. Hargrave. So Hargrave is now in the conversation with Aaron Donald's salary. That's unbelievable. That's unbelievable. That's unbelievable. And I don't want Jalen Carter. If Jalen Carter falls to 10, I don't want him. You better pray to Jesus Christ that guy falls to 10. Yeah. You better pray. Dear God, if you have one prayer, you should pray he falls to 10. You should pray he falls to 10. Then you drop his ass on a rookie deal. You should pray he falls to 10. By the way, this might change the room on me a little bit. Hey, I like Witherspoon too at 10, but I need a defensive tackle desperately. And get this, I need a defensive tackle desperately. Didn't you draft a guy at 13 last year? Yeah, but what do you think? I don't know. So I'm going into the mini camps, and I'm going into the offseason. Here's my comment on Jordan Davis. I don't know. Wow. Okay. That means I need a D tackle. You need D tackles, corners, linebackers. Yeah, that's some defense. By the way, I like Milton Williams. I like him. I do. I love how a month ago everyone was talking about how overrated our defense was, and now all of a sudden all these players are irreplaceable. It's not that, dude. It's the amount that are leaving. You can sustain 1 or 2. Like, what's this? on the Eagles side of the ball, offensively, I think you can be okay losing Seumalo. And I think Isaac Seumalo's a good football player. But I think you can get over that because you got so many great players on that side of the ball. I think you can overcome that. Kid Jurgens maybe steps into that position. Maybe you draft a guy in the second or third and you got Stoutland in the building. I think you can overcome that. I do. I think you're going to be okay. But see, when you start doing this, though, Seumalo and Sanders, now we're talking about combinations that all affect the run game. Do you understand? Then you add the component on the other side of the ball and stopping people. It's the collection of people. That's the issue. It's not, what's this? Losing Hargrave or losing Bradbury or losing Seumalo. Teams all every year do that. Not 10 off your 22. There's a chance the Eagles could lose both corners, both linebackers, both tackles, guard, running back. 9 of your 22. That's a problem. And you change coordinators on both sides of the ball. That's not a problem to you? The hell are you talking about? Use common sense. You lose almost 10 dudes on that side of the ball, all starters. And both coordinators are changed out. And you guys think you're just going to go on another 18-hole golf course and play a normal round of golf? I like how some think. Good luck, Jameson. See y'all. Some people can't handle what's happening right now. Now, again, I told Tone this a couple minutes ago. Okay? I told Tone this a couple minutes ago. Howie's not one of the worst general managers. That's not true. That is absolutely not true. Okay? He's not. Now, after the draft in April, would we make an addendum to seeing how he's done? Sure. This could change. But you got a quarterback. If you did not have a quarterback to address, how about this? You think Jalen Hurts is going to go into the year without the Eagles and Hurts and Clutch Sports having dealt with at least getting the parameters down on paper of what they're going to pay him? You think they're going to let him go into his final year of his contract? Why? I got to hand it to Jalen. He's been a pro here, at least in public. At least in public, Hurts has been a star. You know why? Everyone in the marketplace right now is raising his value without him even opening his pie hole. The money that the NFL has, this, in my opinion, is all the things that are now catching up because of what happened with COVID and the cap went down. I can't believe the money that's out. Dude, TJ Edwards got $7 million per year in Chicago. I would not put him in Roquan Smith kind of category. I mean, this guy's almost making $10 million. He got a 900% increase in pay. That's the money that's out there for good. TJ's a good player. I wouldn't say exceptional. And he's getting exceptional money. Dome goes, TJ's not worth that money. Guess what? Hey, Domey, I don't know. I am so unbelievably stunned with the money that, I mean, it's gargantuan cash. The Hargrave, $22 million? He's the third highest paid defensive tackle in the NFL now. The Eagles will I did think 3 years, 51 would be. I thought 53, 55 was going to. He got 84 million over 4 with a 60 sign. Do you understand? The $60 million signing bonus was more than the money that the Eagles were offering him in a 3-year structured deal. That's insane. That's insanity. That's why if you're Fletcher, hey, I love being an Eagle. Eagles aren't going to give him 8. He could probably get on the open market, like I said a couple minutes ago, between 6 and 8 million for a guy who had 7 sacks, who's a borderline Hall of Fame guy. By the way, I was watching some of the clips and I saw Sal Palantonio say that Brandon Graham could be considered for. Dude, Brandon Graham is not even remotely close to being a Hall of Fame NFL player. There's like 10 dudes: Leslie O'Neal, Gastineau. Go down the list of players that have got over 130 sacks. Ed Too Tall Jones, if you want to even go in the room. Brandon's been a great player and will be an Eagle Hall of Famer. That guy will not even be mentioned in a conversation for Hall of Fame. Okay? Is he needed in the Eagle locker room? Yes. Yes. Has he been a fabulous player? Yes. But fabulous doesn't get you into the NFL Hall of Fame, or Pro Football Hall of Fame, I should say. He'll get a green jacket for sure, and rightfully so. NFL Hall of Famer, give me a break. Like when I'm putting the list together and I'm on the panel, as you heard Jason Cole and also Jared Bell say I'm on the panel, I would never put his name on there. Let me worry about getting Eric Allen in first. Okay? Then we'll go down the list of other guys. Personally, I wouldn't have a problem having a conversation about Fletcher Cox being a Pro Football Hall of Famer. I would not have a problem with that, because I think Fletcher has been a dominant player in his time. Okay? Is he dominant at Sue? Probably not. Sue's going to be debated. Sue and Fletcher Cox. Kind of not as good as Sue. I don't know, man. It's close. Those two guys are close. Those two guys are close. Kelsey's a slam dunk. Slam dunk. Anyway, getting back, what now has to happen if you're Howie? Okay. You have to wait and see how the dust settles here. What's left after the chaos on Wednesday. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday will be chaos. Miles will be here's my predictions. Miles will be gone. Bradbury will be gone. White, TJ are gone. Fletcher and Hargrave gone. You might want to think about bringing Sue or Linville Joseph back. Okay? You have to restructure some contracts. Slay and Lane Johnson, 4-1 to 3-3. Howie is responsible for $54 million dead money. Not a bad jam, but think about this: Cox making $15 million from Birds, Hargrave $12.5 from the Birds, on top of the new money. A lot of dead money there too. I get it. Okay. Sign CJ and Bradbury? Can't. You got a quarterback to deal with. Didn't you hear me, Joseph? You've got to start looking. Do you see what just happened in Kansas City? They lost Orlando Brown. Why? They're paying the quarterback $500 million. Don't you see all the shit that's happening in Dallas and in Kansas City is going to be you? You're going to be one or the other. You're going to be either the Dallas Cowboys having to get rid of guys and not win games, or you're going to be Kansas City and your quarterback can elevate and carry you to a Super Bowl win. One or the other is going to happen. There's going to be no in the middle. Or you're Kirk Cousins. That's in the middle. You're going to be one or the other. I've been preparing you for this day for 6 months. You weren't keeping any of these guys. Why? They're not loyal to you. They're mercenaries. You didn't draft these guys. You know, I'll tell you this. There's a sense when you're drafted by an organization, there's a sense of loyalty a little bit. You guys missed the boat. You thought because they put Eagle helmets on, they were going to be loyal. They came in, wanted to play great. Now they want to get paid. They don't give a shit about the helmet. They don't give a shit about the logo. Brandon Graham does. Fletcher Cox does. Jason Kelsey does. Why? Because they're homegrown guys. It was always a conversation like in New York with A-Rod versus Jeter. No one liked A-Rod. Why? He's not a homegrown guy like Jeter was. You're more loyal to you. You feel an obligation. They took a shot at you. They drafted you. Hey, I'm not saying that you're not demanding to be paid market value, but there's a sense of communication when you're talking about a guy and you become one of Howie's guys. And again, it's not a rip on the Eagle organization. He built it. This was a one-year wonder. This was a one-year wonder team. By the way, do you notice? I'm not saying that Jalen Hurts is a one-year wonder. I'm saying the roster was a one-year wonder. And people will go, no, it's not. How is it not? When you're going to lose at least 9 starters. How? You're just not going to have plug and play. New coordinators too? Now again, I will concede on this. If this was the AFC, that team would be lucky to win 5 ball games with half a roster. Because it's the NFC, and if Rodgers is not there, the Packers are going to take a dive, even more so. And who's left in the room? Seattle? Seriously, here, I wrote this down. What teams? If Rodgers leaves and goes to the Jets like it's being reported, Vikings, Niners, Cowboys, Seahawks, okay? Not world beaters. All with massive holes on their team. 49ers, biggest hole on that team, obviously, is the quarterback position. But again, people keep saying, well, I don't know what they're doing. A quarterback didn't really matter last year. They got to the NFC title game. They won 12 straight ball games. And if it wasn't for the fact that Christian McCaffrey had to play quarterback for them in the NFC title game, God knows what would have happened if the guy was healthy, Brock Purdy. I don't know. He's playing great ball, had beaten the Cowboys. Cowboys had beaten the Eagles. I mean, Dak has the Eagles' number. So, again, I personally think the Cowboys are going to finish in last place in the NFC East. I don't see how they get better. And I'm hearing that they're flirting around with Odell Beckham. He wants $20 million per. Nobody's paying that guy $20 million. Shit, I wouldn't give that guy $7 million a year. He ain't that guy anymore. He's just not. He's too injury prone. Not happening. Seahawks. So they restructured a new contract for Geno. They'll probably go some defense. They need a tackle. They need a pass rusher. Could they sign Bradbury? Maybe. Maybe. This show should be called Balls and Strikes with Big Sills. Preach to him. I've been trying to, pal. You got to tell. That's a good idea. Get him on. Dude, again, the NFC is not a powerhouse conference. Like, look at this deal here. So if Garoppolo had stayed in San Francisco, which, again, the 49ers let that guy walk out the building. Why? Because you drafted a stiff? That's not recognizing your mistakes. You got the freaking guy in the building and you let him go to Las Vegas. You know, when people can't identify their mistakes is what usually leads to their doom. Okay, give Steve Keim credit. When he realized Josh Rosen blew out loud in Arizona, at least he moved him to Miami, and he was able to go and do what? Draft Kyler Murray again, and at least got a better dude at the position. They got Trey Lance and Brock Purdy, and they let Garoppolo walk out the building. Makes no sense. You know, their thinking is, well, we got there with Purdy. I get it. It's a gamble. Who is he? I don't know. But look at Garoppolo. Garoppolo would have been one of the top quarterbacks in the NFC. Now look at him. He's the worst quarterback in the AFC West. It's not better than Mahomes. I don't believe he's going to be better than Russell Wilson. And he's not better than Justin Herbert. So now he goes from being one of the better quarterbacks in the NFC to now being the worst quarterback in the AFC West. Hey, AFC's got some great quarterbacks over there. McNabb goes, Hill's been wrong all year. No, I wasn't. I got you to the Super Bowl. No. Wasn't wrong. I predicted on March 10th, almost a year to the day, that you guys would make it to the Super Bowl. Almost to the day. And today, on March 13th, you won't make the playoffs. Who are you replacing these guys with? I'm curious. Okay, let's do this. If I'm wrong, let me hear who you're replacing all these players with. Milton Williams and Jordan Davis are your new D tackles. From Hardgrave and Fletcher Cox. That's a downgrade. Who's your backers? Nakobe Dean and who? A rookie? That's a downgrade. Who's your corner two, and your slot safety? Some free agent on day 3 and a rookie? That's a downgrade. Who's your running back? He's a rookie. That's a downgrade. Who's your right guard? A rookie from a year ago. That's a downgrade. You got 9 downgrades. Again, remember what I told you. It's not so much missing 1 or 2 guys. It's missing 9 guys. You got 18 free agents total. 9 starters are looking at, and their agents are going like this today on legally tampering day, whatever that means. Look at the money. They gave that dude, TJ Edwards, that deal. It's not the Hardgrave deal's a lot to me. But the Edwards deal, he went from $1.2 million annually in Philadelphia to $7 million annually. I don't know about you, but that is an incredible increase in pay. What do you think, CJ? So watch this. Why should Gardner Johnson listen? If I'm Gardner Johnson, I listen to the Eagles. And right now for a safety, 14.4 is the max money. Like if you were to franchise tag him. Okay, 14.4. You're going to have to be in that room. Knowing full well, back here, you've got to pay your quarterback too. And you've got $54 million in dead money. And the cap only went up $16 million. Where you going? Where are you going? Who are you replacing these guys with? Milton Williams, Nakobe Dean, and Jordan Davis. Okay. collectively, and Cam Jurgens. So here, Cam Jurgens, Boston Scott, is going to pick up 1,200 yards, almost 1,300 yards, and 11 touchdowns. Or are you going to do that by committee? Moneyball. What are you going to do? Cam Jurgens is going to have to play out of position, right? He's a center. Guard. Okay. Tell me I'm wrong. Help me here. I'm going to bring this all up with JAKIB from Fox 29 in Philadelphia at 4:30 Eastern time. I'm wrong. Okay. Hey, Brett, what am I wrong on? Which one? Give me one of them I'm wrong on. One. Okay, Richie, what am I wrong on? Tell me. Don't just say I'm wrong. What am I wrong on? Tell me what I'm wrong on. Eagles are locked and stocked for a Super Bowl. Boston Scott is a free agent too. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm just wrong. Oh, okay. I'm just wrong. There's no examples. I'll take it. Okay. On the first day of free agency, you lost 2 starters. Are you under some impression that's going to get better? Trade Palmer in the 7th. Do you think we're done in? Chris, I don't think you're a free agent player at all. I think you're going to be a free agent player on the 3rd and 4th, 5th day, not on 1 and 2. You will not be a player. You can't be a player in free agency. I didn't say this last year. I said you're going to the Super Bowl on March 10th. Wrong. Stupid take, nasty. Not true and a lie. Signing Mariota, that'll help. Okay. I got to take a time out here because I'm going to tell you what I think they should do. Okay, I'll tell you what I think they should do. Okay, we'll talk to Gary Cobb too. Also, post-combines mock draft. I have a new one. We're going to take a look at that also too. Lot of work to do here, man. So let me get this right. Kelsey, that was great news today. Slay, what are they doing with him? Let's address these. Bradbury and CJ. Hurts. Lane and Slay, would you restructure their deals? Hit the like button, hour 2. Keep it here on the National Football Show.
When it comes to the fight against insurance companies, large corporations, and the healthcare industry, injured victims are always the underdog. But that doesn't worry us. At Messa & Associates, we're an injury law firm from Philadelphia, and we come to fight. Our clients know that they've got representation with a chip on its shoulder, and it's the same chip that makes Philly the toughest city in the country. Call 215-568-3500 or visit us online at messalaw.com. Messa & Associates, the toughest injury firm in Philadelphia.
Go to get your game on. Go for the beers. Go for the cheers. Go for the hit and the hits. Go for the stakes and the stakes. Go to get your parlay on. Go to get your party on. Go for the scene. Go for the screens. Go for the gallery. Go for the win. Go to Ocean. Visit theoceanac.com to plan your visit.
Hi everybody, my name's Jason Lombardi. I'm an inspector at DryTech. At DryTech we offer 3 major services, the first one being basement waterproofing, the second service we offer is foundation and structural repairs, and then the third service that we offer is mold remediation. If you feel you are having a waterproofing issue, give DryTech a call or check us out online.
Jeff D'Ambrosio doesn't need a special event to appreciate his customers. Jeff shows his appreciation to them every day of the year. Jeff makes sure to stock more new inventory than anyone and guarantees prices and payments that nobody can beat. There are so many reasons that thousands of customers know Jeff is the easy, friendly place to do business. More for their trades. No judgment zone for credit issues. The best, most reliable service department in the country. That's why I like Jeff, and I know you will too. Jeff will satisfy you every day. Jeff D'Ambrosio, Destination Downingtown, Owner Appreciation Event.
We all know that taxes are just part of life. It's true during our working years, but also in retirement. But what you might not know is up to 85% of your Social Security benefits might be taxed. Our team at Thrive Financial has helped retire thousands of people across the Delaware Valley by asking questions they never knew they needed to ask, including how their Social Security benefits might be taxed. It's time to be proactive on taxes. Get your Thrive Retirement Tax Playbook today.
Plan your day with confidence.
Keep the umbrellas on hand.
With Action News and AccuWeather.
Numerous tornadoes.
Your go-to team when severe weather strikes.
The water is still rising.
Keeping you prepared wherever you watch. Action News and AccuWeather, the team you trust.
Oh, man. Hell. Woo! Man. Free agency has officially started today, actually. And the Exodus, this is like Moses leaving Egypt in the 10 Commandments. Okay? This is like Moses leaving, taking all his people out of Egypt. Going to the promised land. We're leaving. Good night, man. What a big week. What are you going to do at your backup quarterback position, too? What are you going to do there? What are you going to do there, man? Bears are loading up. Tremaine Edmonds, 4 years, $72 million, $50 million. Dude, Gardner Johnson and Bradbury, there's not a freaking chance they're back in Philly. They signed 2 backers in one day, Chicago. And they still got a ton of, they were almost $100 million over the salary cap. Where are the Eagles going? Who are they signing? No one. Why? Do you remember that little thing I told you, that little tale I told you? I'd rather be in the 49ers position with Brock Purdy than in the Eagles position, and you guys laughed? Well, guess what? It's true. Howie has to be frugal with the money. Why? Got a quarterback to sign. You're in the same position that the Cowboys were 5 years ago with Dak Prescott. Good luck. Dual threat. You ain't winning a Super Bowl paying that guy $50 million. You got half a team. This is exactly what it's going to look like for the next, how many years you want to sign Jalen for? 4? There you go. Well, 24 will be okay. No, 23, excuse me. 24 won't be. Because then you start having to pay the guy. Dual threat. Start missing some ball games. Woo, baby, this thing is either going to be a grand slam in Philly. Oh, my God. I'm going to make a point to you. This could be a bigger gamble for Philadelphia with Jalen Hurts than it even was with Carson Wentz. Because it's more money on the table. More money. This is a gamble. 1 year. 1 year. They were wrong with Carson, and now they're in the same position they were when they gave Wentz that contract. You guys were, and by the way, don't sit here and freaking lie to me. Everybody around the league was sold that Wentz was the guy, but you paid him. 3 years later, you won 4 games. Just saying. Now everybody has revised history. Oh, no, we drafted the guy because we thought he could be a franchise. Yeah, sure you did. Then why'd you give the guy $38 million? Sure you did, Jeffrey. We thought Hurts could develop into being a franchise. You really did? Then why did you turn around and give Wentz $38 million? Stupid comment. And not true. No, I give Mike Shanahan a lot of kudos for what he did. He drafted RG3, but then in the 4th round, he drafted Kirk Cousins. You know why? He hedged his bets. In case this guy gets hurt. He didn't think that he would suck. He was doing it because he thought he might get hurt, and that's why he drafted Cousins. Cousins ended up being the better guy. Here's what I do. And you have an advantage. You have an advantage here. You have an advantage. The NFC sucks. If I were the Eagles, worry about the competition in your respected division. How you get the Super Bowls is winning your division first. You've got to build your roster around beating teams in your division. Okay? Don't worry about San Francisco. Don't worry about Minnesota. Don't worry about Seattle. Don't worry about any of those teams. Worry about the NFC East. Could the Eagles beat the Giants the way the team was constructed right now with all the Exodus players and all the players that are exiting? I don't know. You're not a better football team right now defensively than Washington. Are you better than Dallas? Probably not. Defensively. Who has the better balanced team in the NFC East as of March 13th? See, the ownership bugs me in Washington, but the coaching staff doesn't. Okay? I would say I think it's a hodgepodge of teams. Okay? Now, let's see how many players and who. Will you be the best after this week of free agency? Will you still be the best team in the NFC East? Worry about that component. Will you be better than Dallas? The quarterback has beaten you and owned you. So, for whatever reason, I don't know what it is, Dak sucks against everybody else, but not against Philly. Eagles' offense is better than Dallas's offense. The Cowboy defense is better than you right now. Dallas is going to be kind of right there. The Giants, the money they gave Daniel Jones, if Saquon Barkley rolls, that's a problem. Their defense is pretty good, I guess. I still think they got a lot of holes on that team. Washington's the team. But again, the shit ownership and who's playing the quarterback position. They got a good roster. Washington is building a really good football team. Would not shock me if they won the East this coming season. Would not shock me. Would not. Sam Howell can't be the guy. He can't be the guy. But what do they do at quarterback? They're probably going to have to go into the draft. They may trade up or do something to try to get into one of these guys because they need a quarterback. I mean, there's nobody really left. Garoppolo's going to the Raiders. It's a big conversation at quarterback for them. Sam Howell? Oh, man, come on. Sam Howell over Dak and Jalen? I don't think so. Wide receivers are good. Running game, Antonio Gibson. Their line's getting better. Offensively, defense is already good. The kid Hamilton had a good season. They're getting Chase Young back. They're going to add more components on defense. Washington, in my opinion, right now on March 13th is the team to beat in the NFC East. You don't have a defense. They got one of the top 5 defenses, maybe top 3 defenses in the NFC. You don't. Both tackles gone, both backers gone, corner and safety gone. I mean, I don't know what the hell you're talking about here. And that's not wrong. And again, so here's what Howie is going to have to do, in my opinion. Okay? You're going to have to pray more on the fact that, get this, the heat is really on Nakobe Dean and Jordan Davis to really pick their game up. They have got to star. They have got to be not good, star players. Star players. Okay? Star players. Like Nakobe Dean has got to play. They got a hit on this kid, Witherspoon, at 10. Okay, I've got, and I'm going to, probably top of the third hour, we're going to do my new draft after the combines. Okay? You're going to have to be lucky the same way Kansas City was lucky. 2 starting corners are rookies. Get this, last year, there was a time Kansas City had played 9 rookies at some part of the season. 9 rookies. Why? Paying the quarterback. Losing Tyreek Hill. Now they lose Orlando Brown. You knew this is how this works. The league loves this. And once again, this was a one-year wonder. That 2022 team was not built for longevity. It was built for 1 year. Hence the exits. Got to get lucky in the draft. And the guys that you drafted last year, they have to be stars, not play. Here, I look at the Eagles right now. That thing's a 9-win team at best. You can't fundamentally sit here on March 13th and go, that's a complete team. And someone goes, Sills, well, how many teams are complete? Well, I think the one in San Francisco is pretty complete. And if you've got a really great quarterback that has been a consistent winner, that gives you a chance. Jalen Hurts has not been a consistent winner. 1 year does not make consistency. And the year before that, he was carried to the playoffs. Now, let's see how the week, by Friday, how many people really believe that Howie Roseman's going to offer some sort of great contract to one of these top flight free agents? Not happening. Now, if you hear this in the next 48 hours, Lane Johnson and Darius Slay, you know why? Can I tell you once again? I know Rosenhaus's people. Do you know why Rosenhaus's people would be a little apprehensive? Why would Rosenhaus and Robert Bailey, who represents Darius Slay, why would they be apprehensive on restructuring a contract for Darius Slay and redoing a deal? Why would they be apprehensive on doing that? Does anyone have an idea? See, this is a chess game going on right now. Okay? Why would Drew Rosenhaus and Robert Bailey be a little apprehensive on redoing Darius Slay's deal. I guess, Tone, I guess he's projected to make $18 million. That's right, Bob. Bob nailed it. Right there, because it's easier to trade him. And that means this, Bob. What if you trade me to Atlanta? My value is going to go down in Atlanta being on a shittier team. And that's the final year of his contract. He's 32. You see, Slay wants one more deal. He just turned 32 in January. He ain't getting another deal. Restructuring? I don't know. And what if you send me to a team like the Texans? That's something I'm interested in. Okay? I agree, Yale. That's why would I restructure a contract when there's a $26 million cap hit? If you do anything with me right now, it makes it more impossible to deal the kid. And if you restructure it, the Eagles would have no problem doing this, restructuring a contract, giving him $5 or $6 million, and then get this, calling him in 48 hours and going, we just traded you to the Houston Texans. Why would he do that? To go to a lesser situation? Go to a shittier team? No. No way. No way. That's why he came out in the last 24 hours going, I want to stay in Philly, because you know why? The grass ain't greener on the other side. He doesn't have a no trade in his deal. I know how Drew Rosenhaus thinks. I've known Drew Rosenhaus for 35 years. 35 years. I know him and his brother. Do you know how they got started? Do you know how Drew Rosenhaus got started? He used to hang around the University of Miami practice fields, and Jimmy Johnson used to kick him off our practices. Dennis Erickson was the one that opened the gates for him. And that's why all them Hurricane guys back in the day, the Ray Lewises, the Ed Reeds and all them guys, the Clinton Portises, the Reggie Waynes, the Andre Johnsons, the Michael Irvins, all those guys were out. Calais Campbell's, they were out getting him clients. And that's why he's one of the bigger agents. He used to hang around. Jimmy used to throw him off the practice field. I've known that guy for 35 years, and I know how he operates. He ain't cutting a new deal for Slay unless he gets guarantees that if you move him to places that we agree upon. Right now, this is what Drew Rosenhaus is doing. If you want to trade him to Miami, that's one thing. Miami needs a corner, and they're going to be good. If you want to trade him, don't trade him to New England. New England never gives top dollar when it comes to corners. That's not a place we want to go. Okay? He's probably put a list of 10 teams that they'd be willing to restructure their deal around with guarantees that you promise that you're not going to send me to the Cardinals. Got to have some. That's how that guy works. Because you remember something about Rosenhaus. Rosenhaus will turn around, and if you got another guy in your contract, and you got another contract that you have to deal with him, he will stick it to you like you've never seen before. He is a vengeful dude. This guy's got like 300 players. I know how he works. I know how IMG works. I know how Tom Condon works. I don't know too many people that clutch. Once again, before I bring Gary Cobb up here, I'm going to make a point to you here. Today, on March 13th, that football team would be lucky to make the playoffs. And the money that is being thrown around, Dude, it's not so much the Hargrave $22 million deal. That's insane. The Eagles had 3 years, $51 million on the table for him. 49ers parachute in and give him 60 guaranteed at 20. You know, he's the third highest paid DT in the league now. The deal's not that deal. It's the TJ Edwards $7 million deal per year to Chicago. If you're CJ Gardner or you're Bradbury, you're sitting here doing this. Why in the world would I not want to get out there in the open market and see what they'll give me? CJ and Bradbury are better players. Sayamalo is going to get gargantuan money. Let's bring our friend Gary Cobb in. Gary, I mean, you know, I said this in the last hour, and I'll say it again. This team was not built for longevity. It was a one-year build. 18 potential free agents. There's a chance, Gary, they could lose 9 starters.
Wow.
Friday.
Well, you know, just before, you know, as we closing in on the Super Bowl, and I think a lot of people start looking at things closer to realize, yeah, they needed to win the thing. I mean, because they were not going to be the same team when it came back. In fact, they weren't even going to be close to being the same team. And so it's kind of hit us. And you start seeing that, you know, the money that's flowing around. You know, I mean, do I blame the guys? Go out, man, go get your money, man. You know, because you don't know how long you're going to play. You know, later for all that, you know, especially you talk about, you know, a guy like Hargraves is 30 years old. You know, I mean, you get an offer like that, you got to go ahead and get it. And what is San Francisco doing? Look at San Francisco. They're trying to do the same thing. They don't have to pay the quarterback position. We're going after it right now. And, you know, that is really been the plan of a number of teams that have won it all. I mean, they have gone in aggressively, gone after, you know, stacking the team with talent. And now, you know, people are going to walk. The whole thing is, you know, I thought they were going to be able to re-sign like TJ Edwards. He's a guy who I thought they were going to be, you know, if they wanted to re-sign him.
$7 million, Gary.
Yeah.
Gary,
Yeah.
$7 million per year.
I know.
And then they turn around and they sign Edmonds to a gigantic contract so they signed 2 linebackers and they just gave this guy $50 million guaranteed, 4 years, $72 million.
Yeah.
The money that's out there is insane.
It is flowing, you know, but we kind of knew, you know, I kind of knew it was going to be flowing though some. And, you know, if somebody wants somebody, you know, they can be aggressive. And the whole thing with CJ, though, I mean, with TJ, dude.
Right.
You know, I mean.
No, I think he's good.
Yeah.
But, like, exceptional, I think he struggles in covering.
Well, you know, in today's game, because, you know, as really a linebacker, you got to be able to play pass coverage. You got to be able to defend. Even you're talking about defending wide receivers within a box, and of course tight ends. You got to be able to defend tight ends and running backs. And you figured that now he did a good job last year, but
he didn't.
You figure, you know, people were going to try to go after him. They were going to try to get him isolated to where we're going. Is he a good enough athlete to cover this running back in space? Can he cover this tight end in some space? And that's where his challenge is at. I mean, the thing is, though, the kid is smart. I saw him, and I thought he did a great job with his understanding of the game, being able to anticipate, hey, this guy's got to go outside, you know, being able to figure it out and utilize his mind to make up for what he might lack with the quickness and the foot speed. So I thought he did a good job, but people are going to try to get him isolated, because if you look at a defense, you say, hey, we can get our running back against him one-on-one in space.
That's what Kansas City did.
Yeah.
Kansas City did that in the Super Bowl. Let me go down some of these other topics here. Let's do some good news here. Kelsey coming back. What does that mean for the roster? And in your opinion, again, just the impact that he has coming back this coming season?
Well, you know, it's huge because, you know, does a lot more than just playing the center position, because A lot of times you got to make decisions on what they're doing with the blocking scheme. You know, sliding, which way they're going to slide, being able to decipher. And you know, he's like having a quarterback doing that because he's got the experience. He can sense a look. He knows what the other team is getting ready to do because a lot of the defensive coaches, he knows them. He knows their habits. He's already played against them. He's a guy who's a student of the game and everything. And it's like having two quarterbacks out there. And he really helps Jalen a lot. See, because Jalen doesn't have to be thinking, if anything, he's going to let him know, hey, this is where they're probably coming from. They're coming from this side. And he's going to be able to let him know so he can be looking at the coverage and be thinking about what he's going to do, where he's going with the ball. Whereas with the blocking, which a lot of times that's the quarterback's job too, is decide on what to do blocking wise. Jason helps him with that a lot. So that's weight off of his back, and it's huge. I mean, and then plus, I'm amazed at what he does strength wise, but what he does getting out on sweeps and all different types of things where you never see centered. Man, there's never centered was doing all that, man.
No, what he does and how athletic he is, and when you look at him, you'd never think he's that guy. But man, but
when you find out a little bit about his history, though, the fact that he was a linebacker. See,
okay, so he has some athleticism in the background.
That's right.
Kelsey being a former quarterback, Travis Kelsey. So you see that those guys were playing different positions, and it's benefited them. All right, Gary, what do you do with Darius Slay?
You know,
$26 million dead cap hit. And here's what I just told these guys. I talked to Drew Rosenhaus, and Robert Bailey works with Rosenhaus. He's a Hurricane, so he kind of works with them. And this is what those guys told me. The Eagles want to try to restructure a deal, but this is what Drew said.
Yeah.
Why would I, in the final year of my contract at 32 years of age, allow the Eagles to restructure a deal so they could easily move me to some team like the Texans? And they want some assurances that they're not going to be moved to some psycho team. Now, the Dolphins, the Jets, or some other teams that potentially they could have a chance of winning. Yeah. Rosenhaus is a little apprehensive about restructuring the contract because it makes it easier for them to move him. I just wanted to throw that in there for
well, you know,
your answer.
I could see, you know, I can understand. I think that's a good move because I could see the Eagles wanting to move him. You know, I could
get draft picks.
Get draft picks. You know, they could be thinking, hey, we're going to go ahead. We're going to go with these young kids. We're going to go with a young defense. You know, we're going to be sitting in, double zone, you know, too deep. And we're not going to ask as much of our corners, from a man-to-man standpoint. But, you know, so I could understand them not wanting to take that kind of a cap hit with one guy. And they probably realized that, you know, he's not the player he was. You know, I don't know that he can have a hand and really have make big plays throughout. I don't think they can depend on that from him. So I could see them saying, hey, if we get the right offer, we are interested in moving him. But, you know, they're all playing the game. You know, the fact that they're saying, hey, you can go out and get your deal, that's a way of saying, you know, if we got the right offer, we would trade you.
But, Gary, don't you agree with this, that Slay's leverage is not his play? It's the cap hit of $26 million that is his leverage. And right now, this comes down to being moved, whether it's money and where. So if, you know, to me, I think there's a strong indication, Gary, to me, that the Eagles are more willing to move him and wanting to get those draft choices because they see what Kansas City did by putting those two rookies at corner.
Yeah.
And you've got always this out there, right? You got to pay Hurts. You got to work on that contract.
Look,
I mean, that's got to be a factor in this.
You know, they probably have, you know, these guys, they all got them on the board. In the priority that they see, we got to have this guy. Slay is not up there high. They're saying, well, we got to have this guy. No, I don't think he's up there like that. So for that reason, I think if they had the opportunity to trade him, I think that they would be interested without a doubt. And I think he's got to know that. he's got to know that they would be interested in moving him. And that's why, his agent, is I think made the right move in saying, look, we're not going to put ourselves in a position where it's easy to move us, because we think you would be willing to. We know that he's getting up there in the years and everything. And we know that, you guys might be willing to, play with a younger group, because you're going to need younger guys in there anyway. They're going to have a certain number of young guys playing on their defense. We all know that.
Gary, how about this one here? Bradbury and CJ, would you entertain coming back, or would you now, with the money that's being thrown around, agents are in their ears going, look, they gave Hargrave 3 years of $51 million offer. That guy just signed for $84 million over 4 with 60 guaranteed, which means this: he got more guarantees than the entire structure of the deal the Eagles had on the table for Hargrave. For CJ and Bradbury, these guys here were 1 year mercenary guys. They have no loyalty to the Eagles. They balled out.
Yeah.
They gave you the hometown discount. Mm-hmm. And like you said, Gary, they want to get paid now for it. And rightfully so. CJ especially, get this. CJ made $836,000 last year. He's going to get $15 million on the open market.
I mean, he could. He should. I think he's a valuable player. I think that especially the way you could utilize him, because he has the ability to play man-to-man, because he can tackle, because he's a guy, who can do pretty much whatever you want him to do. You don't see many defensive backs who have that type of versatility. And with that, I think that you could do a lot of things with him if he would stay healthy. Now, he's got to stay healthy for you. But you could do things where you could really mix stuff up. I mean, because you could even let him blitz some. You could put him in a position where they don't know what you're doing, because he can cover man-to-man. And, he can just cover a guy, or he could be blitzing, or he could be playing safety for you. So whatever you want him to do, you really don't usually find many defensive backs that have that type of versatility. Now, I don't know who's, high on him. I know the Eagles should be, but you know how this thing gets. It's funny. You know how it can work where.
But Gary, I didn't think anybody would pay T.J. Edwards $7 million.
Yeah, I mean,
you pay that guy $7 million, and then you look at Gardner Johnson or Bradbury, and you go, I don't know, man. This league is This league's a passing league, and those two guys. I mean, look, see the Hargrave, Gary. To me, I don't know if I really mind the Eagles. I'm not paying $22 million for a defensive tackle.
You can't. The Eagles cannot do that.
I'm not doing that either. However,
yeah,
that's a money position, these corners. And man, I mean, do you think they sign one or both these guys, or do you think they lose both these guys?
I would say they're probably going to lose both.
Me too.
I think they're going to lose both because I look at them, and as you said, this is a throwing league. It's a passing league. And I think that if somebody, with Bradbury, you see where, he's a pro's pro. I in the locker room listening to him, he's smart. He studies. He's really good for the other young guys to have around because he's a pro. He's prepared for the game. He could have some fun and laugh and everything. But you see, this is his job, and he knows he's studying every guy. You ask him about a player, man. He's the other guys in the league, he remembers, hey, I played against him.
Just some breaking news here. It looks like Jesse Bates, the safety from the Bengals, has signed a $16.5 million per year deal. I mean, if you're Gardner Johnson,
wow.
Gary, why in the world would I? Why in the world? I was a co-NFL leader in interceptions.
Well, they got to get the offer, and I don't know about his agent. A lot of times these agents play roles too. So, but I think that talent-wise, he will get. Somebody's going to want to pay him. I think. I mean, because what I saw of him just last year with the ability, what he can do, He like I said, he's not crazy about tackling, but I saw that he can tackle if he really wants to. He can tackle, and we know that he can play man to man. He's got great ball skills. Like some safeties, they can be in position and knocking balls down or balls hitting them upside the head. Kid can catch. So he's going to make plays if you put him out there and get him in position. So I think that there's going to be somebody willing to pay him some big bucks. And, if his agent's got some sense, and he got to doing the job, I think he's going to be able to find somebody where he's going to get up, in the 15 million range.
Two last questions for you here. Gary, do you agree last year's team that Howie put together, it was a lot different than the 17 team in this aspect? When you bring in so many free agents, it's one thing to be, and I don't know how you dealt with it, but when you were drafted by the Lions versus the other teams that you went to, I probably think that the player always has more of a sense of not an obligation, but communication. Maybe because you were a homegrown guy. These guys were one-year mercenaries. They came in here with no loyalty to the organization. And when you have that kind of dynamic, they're looking for life preservers right now with cashbacks tagged on. They're not looking for what the team was going to be building over the next 3 or 4 years. I mean, that was my contention. This was not a team that had a lot of loyalty. They loved playing with one another. And I'm not saying they didn't. I'm just saying, hey, that's old news now, man. 2023 is about my money.
Well, when you look at where these guys are in their careers, you look at CJ. I mean, he's played in New Orleans for a while. The kid hasn't really made any money. You got to see what your teammates are making. I mean, he's got to say, hey, man, I got to make some money now. I'm through. I want to be friends with everybody and everything. That's why I think he assumed that he's out of here. He's assuming that. Now, I think he'll probably get the right offer, but, we'll have to wait and see. When I think about some of the other guys on the roster, guys are going to try to get their money. There's no doubt about it. And you're not going to sign guys that are coming back to later on when they find out there's no money out there. So it's going to take a while. So right now for the next while, most of the offseason, you're not going to sign those guys that you wind getting for really good low price. You're not going to get them till the end of the whole thing near the start of training camp.
But Bates potentially going to Atlanta on that deal. Gardner Johnson then to Cincinnati to replace him at $15 million. I mean,
but Cincinnati though, man. Cincinnati.
You got Joe Burrow there.
Yeah,
I know you're going to be in the playoffs.
No, what I'm saying is, hey, I think Cincinnati's a great place, but will Cincinnati pay you though?
No.
Cincinnati got to show me that they got to step up to the plate. They got all that talent in there.
No, they got to pay Burrow in the offseason here too.
That's what I'm saying. And I got to see what they're going to do because they have been a team that just, they wouldn't want. They wouldn't want to pay him. So
no. Mike Brown's got them alligator arms when it comes to reaching for his wallet.
Hey, we know. Time we see that logo, we know, man, these guys don't pay anybody. They don't want to pay anybody. So we'll see if he does or not. But I think there are other teams that would definitely be interested in a talent like C.J. Gardner-Johnson. I mean, I think he's a special talent, and I think that he'll wind up going somewhere else. I could not see the Eagles being able. I think it would be good if they could, but I don't think they're going to be able to re-sign him.
Okay, and I left the last one for the most difficult one. I mean, if you're Jalen Hurts, you're sitting back and you're watching all these stiffs get all this money, man.
Wow.
Hey, Gary, guess what? He's making money not even opening his mouth.
Yeah.
But when you do this, I made the two comparisons. Are you sure after one season that Jalen Hurts is going to do what Patrick Mahomes, Orlando Brown just is being reported that he's leaving because why? You're paying the quarterback $500 million. You lost Honey Badger. You lost Tyreek Hill. That guy still won a Super Bowl. Are you sure you're going to be in a position where your quarterback elevates your team? Or are you going to be the Cowboys where you're going to have exodus of player after player because you paid a guy? That's where the Eagles are right now. You're either going to be one or the other.
Well, this is where, we're going to find out about, Howie. Now, I will say.
And Jalen.
Yeah, and Jalen, you're right. The thing is, I have a history, though, with Howie. Howie has been able, when it came to monetary things, he was able to get the job done. He's been able to do that. But this time is a special time. He hasn't been in this kind of situation, even though he was here with Wentz. He paid Wentz. He paid Wentz. So I think he's going to be able to work it out, being that he's had my experience with Howie. He's been able to work out the dollars. He's always been able to do the financial part of it. So I will say that he's going to be able to do it, but I'm definitely interested in how this whole thing plays out because, man, dude, woo, this you're talking about some money, man.
I can't wait till Wednesday at 4 p.m., man. I can't wait to see how this thing plays out. I can't wait to talk to you next Monday, man. What a week this is going to be, man, for the Eagles and for the NFL. The money. Hey, Gary, get this, man. Yeah. We should go back to our moms and go, man, why couldn't you wait?
That's
like a couple decades to have us, man. Hey, man. Hey, wait a minute, Gary. TJ Edwards is no Gary Cobb, and he got $7 million.
Hey, listen to this.
You played 12 years.
There's a young lady upstairs. She always, they didn't treat you right. Whatever. Look at you. They didn't treat you, because what we were making back then, And I'm going, you were really worried about me, huh?
Gary, I can't wait till next week. Have a great week, my friend. Thank you for doing this.
All right, you too. Have a good one.
You got it. The great Gary Cobb. Don't forget Fox 29. Do me a favor. We are going to hit on so much, and I got a post-Combines draft, mock draft. I'll do that at the top of the hour. I want to hit on some of the stuff that we hit on with Gary Cobb. Hit the like button. Keep it here on the National Football Show.
When it comes to the fight against insurance companies, large corporations, and the healthcare industry, injured victims are always the underdog. But that doesn't worry us. At Messon Associates, we're an injury law firm from Philadelphia, and we come to fight. Our clients know that they've got representation with a chip on its shoulder, and it's the same chip that makes Philly the toughest city in the country. Call 215-568-3500 or visit us online at messalaw.com. Messon Associates, the toughest injury firm in Philadelphia.
Go to get your game on. Go for the beers. Go for the cheers. Go for the hit and the hits. Go for the stakes and the stakes. Go to get your parlay on. Go to get your party on. Go for the scene. Go for the screens. Go for the gallery. Go for the win. Go to Ocean. Visit theoceanac.com to plan your visit.
Hi everybody, my name's Jason Lombardi. I'm an inspector at DryTech. At DryTech we offer three major services, the first one being basement waterproofing. The second service we offer is foundation and structural repairs. And then the third service that we offer is mold remediation. If you feel you are having a waterproofing issue, give DryTech a call or check us out online.
Jeff D'Ambrosio doesn't need a special event to appreciate his customers. Jeff shows his appreciation to them every day of the year. Jeff makes sure to stock more new inventory than anyone and guarantees prices and payments that nobody can beat. There are so many reasons that thousands of customers know Jeff is the easy, friendly place to do business. More for their trades, no judgment zone for credit issues, the best, most reliable service department in the country. That's why I like Jeff, and I know you will too. Jeff will satisfy you every day. Jeff D'Ambrosio, Destination Downingtown, Owner Appreciation Event.
We all know that taxes are just part of life. It's true during our working years, but also in retirement. But what you might not know is up to 85% of your Social Security benefits might be taxed. Our team at Thrive Financial has helped retire thousands of people across the Delaware Valley by asking questions they never knew they needed to ask, including how their Social Security benefits might be taxed. It's time to be proactive on taxes. Get your Thrive Retirement Tax Playbook today.
Plan your day with confidence.
Keep the umbrellas on hand.
With Action News and AccuWeather,
Numerous tornadoes.
your go-to team when severe weather strikes.
The water is still rising.
Keeping you prepared wherever you watch. Action News and AccuWeather, the team you trust.
What do you do at your backup quarterback position? Now, by the way, the Buccaneers are now targeting potentially Baker Mayfield. This is the saving grace here, okay, for the Eagles is the fact that the NFC sucks. It is. It's the only thing. 9 potential starters are off your team. There's not a chance in hell. And the new coordinators, show me where you feel confident that Howie is going to retool this team. He's not the best drafter. Trade Slay and Gainwell to the Chargers for Eckler. I saw Austin Eckler demanded a trade because they're not going to be able to pay him. I'd love to have Adam Thielen as the third wideout too for the Eagles. Dude, the Bucs going after Baker Mayfield. This doesn't make sense. But then again, watch this. Derek Carr has made the Saints a playoff contender because it's the NFC. Too much turnover everywhere. March 13th, the Eagles are not a playoff roster. They're not. Now, they're not in a – okay, so if they see, the reason that you're not hearing anything right now on Slay redoing his deal, Rosenhaus is not going to do that unless he gets assurances. So the only deal you could potentially restructure is Lane Johnson. That's not enough, especially when you got a quarterback you got to deal with. Howie's in a position now, he's got to go young. They are lining up, and this is why they want to trade Slay. You need to get, and I talked to Coach Johnson about this last night. When you're in a position like this with the cap being the way it is, Howie Roseman, he needs to deal Darius Slay for draft picks. Why? Get as many draft picks as you can in case you screw up. And you're going to land on Jason Kelce. You're going to land on Jordan Mailata. Here's the beauty on how he's drafting. Did he screw up on Jalen Reagor? Absolutely. Did he nail it with a 7th round pick? Watch this. Do you think that the Jalen Reagor pick gets squashed because he ended up getting Jordan Mailata in the 7th round? Look, and I get Justin Jefferson was taken right after. There's that dynamic too. Okay, sure. But still, I can always go, I may have failed on Reagor, but I did fall on Jordan Mailata. I did fall on Jordan Mailata. Mailata's going to play 15 years. He is going to. So, what RG3, did it cost Washington an arm and a leg? Absolutely. Did they get some good quarterback play out of Cousins for a while, make the playoffs? Yes. Didn't justify all those picks, but at least it wasn't pain. How about this? When you do something like that and you're Howie getting guys in latter rounds, think about this. The most important pick in Howie Roseman's entire time being in control of the draft was what? What do you think is the best and most important pick in Howie Roseman's time as GM in Philly? Do you guys know? What was the most important and substantial pick? Not Hurts. What was the most important pick in his time in Philly? It was Nick Foles. It was Foles. You know why? Because when the Golden Child went down, someone they got in a ladder round won the Super Bowl. And not just the Super Bowl. He won the MVP and outdueled Brady. That's the most significant pick because it had the biggest ramifications around it. That covered his ass. As bad as the Wentz situation was, they still won it with a pick that Howie did in a ladder round. Remember that. Hedging your bets, covering your ass in the draft is always a good thing. Ask Howie Roseman. Okay? I didn't ask you the best player he picked, the most significant. Get the two right. The Foles pick led to a Super Bowl win. Kelsey's a better player? Of course. The most significant and impactful pick was Nick Foles. After your quarterback went down, this guy put an MVP performance together in the most important game in Eagle history. Hedging your bets. Again, sometimes you guys like to put things together. It's not that defined. Who's the best player you ever drafted? It's not Nick Foles. Most impactful because you won a title with him. And you got him in a ladder round, which is even more of a value. Jalen Hurts' pick right now has given you only one thing. Well, two things. Headaches. Jalen's performance is now giving you a headache. That guy is not the rest of those dudes out there. He's not Joe Burrow. He's not Josh Allen. He's not Patrick Mahomes. He's not any one of those guys. He's Lamar Jackson. It's Lamar and Jalen and Kyler. It's those dudes. Those other guys are different. And the reason I say a headache is because you can't really do anything with your roster because you got to concern yourself with paying the quarterback. That's the headache in this. It's not that Jalen's bad. And by the way, I don't want anyone to have this notion. So are you saying trade? I'm not saying do anything. You've invested in this style of play. You're moving forward with this. Good luck to you. I don't think it's a winning remedy. Still, they went to the Super Bowl with a roster of one-year mercenaries. Now that's gone. You don't have that luxury anymore. And nor do you have that team. I told you this the week before I went on vacation. That Jalen Hurts' best team that he ever played on will be last year's team. He'll never have that again. And here it is. March 13th, 2 days from free agency, you're already seeing the ramifications of that. Boom. This is going to be one of the biggest weeks in Howie Roseman's Philadelphia Eagle career this week. Because you know what his number one job is? He's got to soften the blow of all the players that are leaving the starting lineup. Dude, you're not, and again, I want you to understand one more thing again. I want you to take this for what it is. Dude, can you withstand losing Isaac Seumalo or a Bradbury or a Gardner Johnson? Yes, but you can't sustain losing. Even Cobb said it. Bradbury, Gardner Johnson, Kaiser White, TJ Edwards, Fletcher Cox, Javon Hargrave, Isaac Seumalo, Miles Sanders, even Andre Dillard is gone. You can't sustain all that. And then turn around and go, well, we want to sign them all and pay the quarter. Dude, you don't live in a monopoly world. As much as everything went right last year, this coming season and this offseason here is going to be a great example. I'm going to make a point to you here. If Howie can duplicate what he did a year ago this year and pay Hurts, Howie's the best general manager in the National Football League. Okay? He will be, how about this? I'll take that back. He'll be the best deal maker as a general manager in the NFL if he could duplicate what he did. I don't believe it. Because what I saw last year was unbelievable. And by the way, the thing he has to lean on the most now is the one thing he can't do. Yeah, how about this one? The one thing that he's not exceptional at is the thing he has to lean on the most now. You know what that is? Drafting. He's not a good drafter. Steelers just signed cornerback Patrick Peterson. I would say this to you. Peterson probably has a little bit left in the tank, but not a lot. And depending on what the money was, I'm not going to break the bank for him. So get this. Peterson just got a contract to go to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh never signs free agents. They never sign free agents. They must have got him on a pretty decent deal. You imagine what Bradbury and Gardner Johnson are going to command in the open market? Holy shit. And hey, I agree with Yale. Patrick Peterson probably, remember, what was it? 3 years ago? 2 years ago? When the Eagles were kicking the tires on him when he was in Arizona? Probably had something there, but now I'm with you. Unless that number is significant, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I think he's a little bit past, a little long in the tooth. Tone just said this: if Bates got $16 million a year from Atlanta, Gardner Johnson's going to command. See, here's the problem that you have with Gardner Johnson. Bates was making, I think Bates is a first-round pick, so Bates was making significant dough. That's a safety. Gardner Johnson was the co-interception leader in the NFL. If you think you're going to walk in with Moneyball, Eagle Moneyball, and offer him some sort of hometown discount, he owes you nothing. And he is going to laugh at you. He's going to make between 14 and 15 million bucks. So that means you're going to pay your safety 15 to 14 million and a corner who's a little long in the tooth and Slay. You're going to have in the secondary over $31 million invested in Slay and CJ. And you're going to have to draft a rookie corner. And you're going to have to sign or draft 2 new linebackers and pray that Jordan Davis and Milton Williams can play. I don't know where you see that the Eagles are a contender for a Super Bowl. Their roster isn't the same. Bates was a second rounder, 54th overall in 18. Okay, he was a second rounder. Well, he's going to make top flight money now in Atlanta. Nakobe Dean, good luck to a guy who looks like a strong safety. Good luck. So far with Nakobe Dean, I have seen nothing that makes me think he's a frontline player. Nothing. Except wishful thinking and idle talk. And when I hear it about Jordan Davis, I see some flashes. Other than that, he plays high, he's out of shape, and he's not a very good pass rusher. And he's not the 13th pick. Oh, wait, he was. Milton Williams is probably going to be your most productive. And by the way, if Fletcher's going to get money in the open market, they're going to come back to Fletcher and go, here's $4 million. He's going to go, I'm going to go out in the open market. Guy had 7 sacks. I don't know. Okay, here's another one. The Lions just signed a linebacker by the name of Alex Anzalone. 3-year deal, $18.75 million. Guaranteed money, $6.25 million. Who? Who's that? They had no shot at signing Edwards. Kaiser White's going to make about $5 million. Eagles aren't offering him that. You're losing. I got to take a timeout. I got a new mock draft after the combines. I want to hit on that. Holy shit. Dude, I don't know where your boy's going. The only place he can go is the draft because it's the cheapest place to go. Hit the like button. Keep it here on the National Football Show.
When it comes to the fight against insurance companies, large corporations, and the healthcare industry, injured victims are always the underdog. But that doesn't worry us. At Messon Associates, we're an injury law firm from Philadelphia, and we come to fight. Our clients know that they've got representation with a chip on its shoulder, and it's the same chip that makes Philly the toughest city in the country. Call 215-568-3500 or visit us online at messalaw.com. Messon Associates, the toughest injury firm in Philadelphia.
Go to get your game on. Go for the beers. Go for the cheers. Go for the hit and the hits. Go for the stakes and the stakes. Go to get your parlay on. Go to get your party on. Go for the scene. Go for the screens. Go for the gallery. Go for the win. Go to Ocean. Visit theoceanac.com to plan your visit.
Hi everybody, my name's Jason Lombardi. I'm an inspector at DryTech. At DryTech we offer 3 major services, the first one being basement waterproofing. The second service we offer is foundation and structural repairs. And then the third service that we offer is mold remediation. If you feel you are having a waterproofing issue, give DryTech a call or check us out online.
Jeff D'Ambrosio doesn't need a special event to appreciate his customers. Jeff shows his appreciation to them every day of the year. Jeff makes sure to stock more new inventory than anyone and guarantees prices and payments that nobody can beat. There are so many reasons that thousands of customers know Jeff is the easy, friendly place to do business. More for their trades. No judgment zone for credit issues. the best, most reliable service department in the country. That's why I like Jeff, and I know you will too. Jeff will satisfy you every day. Jeff D'Ambrosio, Destination Downingtown, Owner Appreciation Event.
We all know that taxes are just part of life. It's true during our working years, but also in retirement. But what you might not know is up to 85% of your Social Security benefits might be taxed. Our team at Thrive Financial has helped retire thousands of people across the Delaware Valley by asking questions they never knew they needed to ask, including how their Social Security benefits might be taxed. It's time to be proactive on taxes. Get your Thrive Retirement Tax Playbook today.
Plan your day with confidence.
Keep the umbrellas on hand.
With Action News and AccuWeather.
Numerous tornadoes.
Your go-to team when severe weather strikes.
The water is still rising.
Keeping you prepared wherever you watch. Action News and AccuWeather, the team you trust.
Be a lot of tears by Friday. A lot of tears. I told Tone, you better be ready. Oh, Howie, the magician. This guy's going to have to be like Merlin, the magician, to get his ass out of this one. Not happening. Most importantly, because you don't have the quarterback to carry you out of it and throw you out of trouble. You don't have the quarterback to throw you out of trouble. He needs a team around him. Been saying it all year. Is he good? Yes. Watch this. Do I think Lamar Jackson can win a Super Bowl unless he has a full team around him? No. Do I think Kyler Murray? No. They're struggling in Buffalo with the fact that they got to get a running game and they got to stop that guy from running or they're not going to win. And I love that kid. They still won 14 games. There's certain dudes in the league that can throw you out of trouble. That guy can't. Dude, you take A.J. Brown and Devontae and Dallas Goedert off that team like they did in Kansas City, he ain't doing that with stiffs. You think Jalen Hurts can carry a football team with stiffs like that guy in Kansas City did? Not happening. Ask Dak that. He's got CeeDee Lamb. Oh, yeah, like he helps. '49ers are going to be in it because you know why? The one thing that I have to give San Francisco credit for, as bad as the decision-making has been at the quarterback position, they're still getting to NFC title games year in and year out. How they do it? The problem with them is they just don't have the elite signal caller. They got the roster. Is San Francisco better than the Chiefs roster? By far. Who's the second best player in Kansas City? Travis Kelce. Okay. They got 3 elite players, Chris Jones, Travis Kelce, and the quarterback, which is the most important. And they got an elite coach. 49ers, man, Trent Williams going to the Hall of Fame. The tight end is elite. Deebo Samuel is one of the top 3 wideouts in the league. Nick Bosa is the defensive player of the year. Now you add Hargrave. Fred Warner and Roquan Smith of Baltimore are the 2 best inside linebackers in the NFL. And they got a safety that made the All-Pro team. Yell goes like this. Well, Purdy. Dude, Purdy's a dude in San Francisco. Does it matter who quarterbacks them? Whether it's Colin Kaepernick, Jimmy Garoppolo, or Brock Purdy, they still get to NFC title games and Super Bowls. Do you understand that? In San Francisco, they've gotten to the Super Bowl or the NFC title game with Brock Purdy, Jimmy Garoppolo, and Colin Kaepernick. Not your elite dudes in the world. I think the elite quarterback, in my opinion, unless he's the superstar guy, I think paying a guy like that is overrated. Can I tell you, I think it's actually like the shiny lure. And I think it's overrated. You don't have a team around you, man, you ain't going anywhere. Niners signed Sam Darnold to a 1-year deal. Maybe Kyle Shanahan could do something with him. Jesus goes, Jalen's a superstar off of 1 year. Not me. Superstars are people that are consistently great. Okay? Consistently great. He's not. 1 year? Hey, by the way, we're going to find out. You're going to find out this year because you got to have a football team that's a one-dimensional team. And by the way, you're losing your running back, which means you're going to have more carries for your quarterback. Some go like this. Well, let's draft a guy. Well, you better hope he's good in pass protection. You know why most rookie running backs don't play right away? They can't pass protect. So without Miles Sanders back there, you're going to have your quarterback run more? Good luck. He'll be in the same position Kyler Murray's in. You watch this coming year. If you do that, this guy will be gone for a year if you continue to do that. He's not built like Josh Allen. He's not 6'6", 260. But he could squat 600 pounds. I don't give a shit what he can do. That guy's going to get killed in Buffalo too. Hurts is a really good ball player. He is a really good ball player. Elite, not happening. You take, like I said, he is a benefactor of having a really great offense around him. And the only reason he benefits from it is because they're not paying him. You're seeing some of the ramifications of that now as they prepare. Look at what the Jets are doing to try to get Aaron Rodgers in the building. They had to restructure like 4 different contracts to be able to clear up some money to try to get Rodgers $50 million and then $60 million next year on their cap. In a time where you're trying to add players, the Jets are trying to redo and cutting players because they're trying to get Rodgers on the books. Best quarterback in the NFC? We're going to find out. Like I said, his postseason was terrible. His Super Bowl was great. He wasn't great in the AFC title game or the NFC title game and divisional games. He stunk. Facts. Go back and watch the game. Hurts is going to get better, he says. How do you get better when you take 1,300 yards and 11 touchdowns out of the huddle? How do you get better? And this coming season, by the way, you are not going to be able to control games running the ball. Why is that? Well, because if you don't score on every possession, that defense is going to surrender every possession. Don't have any turnovers. That football team has no chance if they can't throw themselves into victories and out of trouble. You'll have to score every single series. Don't get any 3 and outs. Don't get any injuries. You're not very deep anymore. See, the Eagles are now going to fall into the line of every other team in the NFL now. Now you have holes everywhere. Last year you had none. That's why we said this, and I told Tone this. Last year, the Eagles had the most complete football team I've seen in a long time. And you not winning it, catastrophic failure. People keep going, they got a dynasty going in Philly. How? 18 free agents and all the dudes on one-year deals? That's not a dynasty. Well, the quarterback, you need more than the quarterback. Or he better be Mahomes. And he ain't. He ain't Mahomes. Shit, he's not Burrow. People are ripping on the Sam Darnold sign. I think it's a great sign. Kyle Shanahan has taken multiple quarterbacks to NFC title games. Don't get back there again. The problem with Darnold is he's a turnover machine. That's the problem he has. He's a complete turnover machine. That's why I would have a problem with him. But again, hand the ball off to McCaffrey. Throw to your tight end. Okay? He was a turnover machine at Southern Cal. I never draft turnover machines. I'd rather, and dude, Trey Lance. Man. Okay, one more time here. Here's what has to, by the way, I got the mock draft here for the post combines. One more time. Here's the game plan I think Philly's on now. You're not going to be a free agent player. You have no money because the quarterback. Remember something about this coming season. It's not going to be a cap hit until 24. The bonus will. Whatever that bonus is, and if you give him a $200+ million deal, that signing bonus is going to be like 160. That's a cap hit. You could restructure Lane's deal. And by the way, Slay, I told you what the layout is. Why would Slay redo his contract so you can move him to a shitty team that has a lot of assets like Houston? That's the fear. Slay redoing his deal, Howie turning around, sending him to a place that has a lot of draft choices like Houston, Carolina. Carolina got a boatload of picks because of the McCaffrey deal. Teams that have a lot, just look, teams that have a lot of draft choices. There's a rumor going around that Seattle's interested only if, get this, the Eagles eat 70% of that $18 million is on the table for him this year. The Eagles are going to either have to do this with Slay. I think they're moving him. Okay? Because they're going to want to get draft choices. He's got $18 million and $26 million of dead cap money that's on the books if they do anything stupid. Okay? That's his leverage. His leverage is not his play, especially in the second half of the season. His leverage is the cap hit. I'm not redoing my deal. Watch this. It's cheaper for the Eagles to give him $8 million more up front, restructure his base, then move him. Then to do this, I have to pay 90% of that $18 million, which comes out to around $13 million of it. They're looking to make money on this deal so they can pay the quarterback. It's not so much the draft picks, it's the money. And where they're going. You're not going to send me to Houston. You're not sending me to Houston. Slay's the guy to move, and then I could turn around and maybe keep Bradbury and Gardner Johnson. Now, you're not keeping both of them. Bradbury and Gardner Johnson are gone. Dude, Bates just got $16.5 million from Atlanta. Gardner Johnson, I think, is a better player. What's Bradbury? What are you going to do with him? You are rebuilding your entire defensive tackle group and your corners. Wow. And you're trying to tell me today you're a Super Bowl contending team. Wow. Dude. And Edwards gets $7 million. And the Bears, look at the Bears had like $98 million in cap space. They signed 2 linebackers today, and they still probably have $50 million or $60 million in cap space. This is a step back. Tone says, I think Howie's learned his lesson from committing big money to aging veterans. When it comes to Slay, sure, it'd be great to keep him, but rather move on 1 year early. That's the Tone. That's the Patriots' old mentality. They're going to move you before your gas can is empty. That's the smart thing to do. What? Most organizations fall in this stupid category. Watch this. You know what they do? They want to squeeze every last second out of the player, and all of a sudden, when you realize you got nothing left, you get nothing for him. You've got to be able to go like this. Let me send this guy out of here, and let me get some assets. Man, the Patriots did that for 20 years, and they did it to a perfection. They did it to a perfection. I'm not saying your offense is not going to be a very good unit. It is. But you do have to replace 1,300 yards and 11 touchdowns. And a guy who got Pro Bowl consideration at right guard. You are going to have to replace those. 1,300. And what you're doing, remember, with dual threat, it's not so much you're missing a running back. What are you doing here, Tone, I don't know if you agree with this, but it's not so much that you're losing Miles Sanders. It's more to the point in an RPO system, the quarterback has to make the decision on run, pass, or option. And when that running back is not a 1,300-yard talent or 11 touchdown guy, and you're relying on a lesser of a talent, the quarterback's going to feel more obligated to run the ball, which means more opportunities for him getting banged up more. It's wear and tear. Some go like this. Drop back quarterbacks get hurt too. They do. But you're increasing the odds when you're in a game where you have 18 carries and 30 passes. Your odds are higher. Common sense will tell you that. He missed 2 games, not from being hit in the pocket. He missed 2 games because in Chicago, he got slammed on his shoulder from running the ball in an RPO. God forbid he gets his legs hurt and you invested 50. If Jalen Hurts hurts his legs, he's finished. His game is multi. He's unique. He's finished. Tonko Sanders is nice, but I give more credit in reference to the okay. Get this. Sure. O-line's one of the best in the NFL. That's a given. You're still taking 1,300 yards out of the offense and 11 touchdowns. Hey, do I think Sanders is worth $6 million? No. Not when you have to pay the quarterback. No. You're missing the point, though. When you take a guy like that out of your offense, Tone, you're right. Offensive line, you're still going to ask the quarterback to carry the ball more. I thought we were trying to get away from that. You know, he was trending for 200 carries. I thought we were trying to get that down to about 130 by the end of the year. He had 165 something carries by the end of the season, missing 2 games. I thought we were trying to get away from that. He carried the ball more this year than he did a year ago, and he missed more games this year. That number's not going to improve when you take a back that had 1,300 yards out of the backfield. You guys think you're going to put another guy back there, gain 1,300 yards? Who's the last 1,000-yard running back that you've had before Sanders? Can you tell me? Shady? Probably Shady. How long ago was that? Tone says this is the best O-line, and he's right. But how many 1,000-yard backs have you had since Shady McCoy? Just curious. I mean, it's not like they've been producing Adrian Peterson's back there with this great O-line. (2009) Okay, well, I mean, I was under the assumption with this great O-line that they had, anybody could play it and get 1,000 yards. You know what 1,000 yards is, too? It's 60 yards in 17 games, like 60 yards a game. That's all you have to have. I thought Sanders had another 1,000-yard season. I might be wrong. Yeah, no. You're still putting more pressure on the quarterback, Tone. That's my point. It's more on the quarterback. Believe me, if that team thought in any way whatsoever that Boston Scott or Gainwell could be the guy, he'd have been moved a year ago. What's great news is that Kelsey is back. Kelsey's an important component to this. And look, I said it too. Getting a guy like Kelsey back, here, Kelsey coming back and losing Sayamalo softens that big time. Who would I rather have back? Give me Kelsey any day. Okay, if I have to choose between one or the other, I'll take Jason Kelsey. And because I have Stoutland as my coach, I'm figuring he's going to figure it out. Okay? I'm figuring he's going to figure that out. He's great in the chessboard. So I'm good with him. Okay? I think he'll figure that out. My problem will be, how will the team look to Jalen when he's running the RPO if he's not confident in the run game? And I got to tell you, Miles Sanders, how about this? Would we agree in the last 5 games, including the Super Bowl, Miles Sanders, didn't it come off like he was making business decisions? You know what I mean? I mean, he hasn't even hinted that he'd like to stay in. Has he? Maybe I missed it. That he would like to stay. I thought there was like a tweet or something that he put out, but he shut that down immediately because there's been no comment. Dude, he's going to get significant. I would significant. 5 or 6 teams are going to offer him, and he's probably going to leave just because of the lack of respect. Bijan Robinson, the kid from Texas, I like him. I think he's got a lot of Le'Veon Bell in him. Okay, I do. You know what always kills me, though, about Texas? They had another running back there, too. You know what kills me about Texas? How can you have all these five-star guys? There's 53 five-star guys on that roster, and they don't win games. It's like the Ben Simmons deal. How can you be the number one overall pick when you can't even get your LSU Tigers to the NCAA tournament where Chaminade makes it? You know what I'm saying? I mean, Ben Simmons, didn't that ring a bell to people when you're evaluating? Ben Simmons was the number one player taken, and he couldn't elevate the LSU Tigers to the NCAA tournament. And teams like Chaminade and Murray State make it. You know what I mean? I mean, winning has to matter. I think we're going to see. Now, look, I say this, keep an eyeball on this. In the next 48 hours, keep an eye. Slay's going to tell you a lot. Slay is going to tell you a lot on the direction of the Eagles. If you hear it's quiet and they weren't able to restructure, that's because Rosenhaus does not want him moved to a shit team. See, this is strategy. The only leverage a 32-year-old corner at $18 million has over an organization, especially with a team that looks at his play as being as a drop-off as the season ended, is the cap hit. It's his only leverage. Because here, $18 million? Sure. Do you know how many teams would like to have Darius Slay on their team? Probably 15. But you know what they're going to come back and tell the Eagles? Well, how much of that contract you eating? Well, what pick are you giving me? I'll give you a fourth rounder for him. No way. At what? We have to pay $14 million of his $18 million? Yeah. It's not worth it. You want a fourth? My draft choice is valuable to the Eagles. Why? Because they got to have as many. The Eagles have to have as many draft picks as they pop. I'll tell you something else. That Robert Quinn pick now looks big. I'll tell you something, Yale. Everyone else, Tone, that Robert Quinn deal now looks like a significant loss because they need all the draft picks they can get. Why? Because of the exodus and because of all the one-year deals, and they have to get younger. They gambled. Okay? What was that thing, a fourth-round pick? That's right in pretty much the middle of the draft. Man, it's that pick looks bigger now. Okay? Here. Big no for. Hold on. What round was Kelsey drafted in? Hey, P, what round was Kelsey drafted in? This guy says a fourth-round pick's not a big deal. What round was Kelsey taken? What round was What round was Jason Kelsey taken? Oh, the 6th. What round was Jordan Mailata taken? The 7th. What round was Nick Foles taken? Just asking. Oh, now those picks aren't worth anything. Oh, okay. You never know when you land on something. That's the Patriots. That's the Patriots. Foles was the 3rd. Shit, look at Seattle. What they did with the Legion of Boom. Cam Chancellor. Richard Sherman. The linebacker. All those great players they had. Right? Michael Bennett, free agent. Richie goes negative sales. What's positive when you're seeing players being offered giant money and you're losing players? What's negative? Those are facts. It's not negative. So what would you rather have me say? You think you're going to win ball games replacing Javon Hargrave with a 4th rounder from Iowa? Are you mental? You couldn't even replace Fletcher Cox with the 13th pick. And you're expecting me to sit here and go, you're going to replace him with the 92nd pick? Give me a break. Yeah, guy's going to step in for Javon Hargrave, defensive tackle out of UTEP. Congratulations to you. I like to see that. Now, look, I'm with you guys. Man, $22 million for a defensive tackle. I don't know. He's the 3rd highest paid DT now in the NFL, behind the Kid Payne and Aaron Donald. That's unbelievable. Do I think he's the 3rd best DT? Shit, man, I'll tell you what. I don't really think he's the greatest when it comes to being a run stopper. Jalen Carter falls to 10. Crazy, man. Jump on that. By the way, let's do this. I put together a post combines. And with Carolina making that deal now to get the number 1 overall pick, you know my relationship with Frank Reich. Who do you guys think, rise of right now, the Carolina Panthers favor at quarterback with the number 1 pick? Who do you think they favor? Who do you think they favor? And by the way, this comes from a team. I can't say what team. So I kind of put together my own thoughts and this particular team's draft board. It's Stroud. Panthers are very high on C.J. Stroud. You know my thoughts on Ohio State quarterbacks. I'm not drafting a small dude with the number 1 overall pick. I'm just not. If he turns out to be Fran Tarkenton, Drew Brees, so be it. I'm just not doing it. 5'11" or 5'10" and a half, 185 is not cutting it. I mean, I just am not doing that. Bryce Young, Houston, they're going to gamble. Is number 2. Will Anderson, edge rusher, will go to the Cardinals. And that will be with Gannon. Number 4, here's the surprise. Anthony Richardson, Indianapolis, quarterback, Gators. You could thank Jalen Hurts for this. Number 5, Jalen Carter, Seattle via Denver with the Russell Wilson deal. Seattle, because they did not get Javon Hargrave and were outbid by the 49ers, Jalen Carter's going to Seattle. And they're going to actually get cheaper. And I think Jalen Carter's better than Hargrave. So they're going to get cheaper, but they wanted Hargrave. That was their number 1 priority. Number 6, Christian Gonzalez, Detroit, cornerback, Oregon, a target by the Eagles. Number 7, Will Levis, Las Vegas Raiders. Garoppolo signed a contract today. He's the bridge. Quarterback, Kentucky, the 7th pick. Number 8, Tyree Wilson, Atlanta, edge, Texas Tech. 2nd best edge rusher in the draft. Number 9, Pete Skoronski, offensive tackle, getting help for Justin Fields, Chicago, via Carolina, Northwestern. Number 10, Philadelphia Eagles, Devon Witherspoon, Illinois. At least 4 teams that I've talked to say that their bet is the Eagles are taking this kid. He's my favorite player in the draft. Now, I'll tell you this. Let me stop at 10 for a second. Let me stop at 10. Howie needs a ton of picks, right? Would you trade out of that 10th pick and trade down? There's still pretty good corners on the table. The kid from Maryland, Porter's still there. Okay? Would you trade down from 10? Something to think about. Trading down. You could probably trade down. See, what you don't want is Washington getting him. You don't want Washington getting him. So just leave it here for a second. Number 11. He's graded as the best player at the combines. Bijan Robinson, Tennessee, running back. The Titans are going to draft him. Why? They're moving on from Derrick Henry. Number 12, Quentin Johnson, Texans, via Cleveland, TCU. I'm with you guys. I don't draft any wide receiver out of TCU. No, thank you. Number 13, Paris Johnson, New York Jets, offensive tackle, Ohio State. I think this has really got a lot to do with Aaron Rodgers. If Rodgers is not there, that could be a different pick. 14, Patriots, Broderick Jones, offensive tackle, Georgia. Number 15, Michael Mayer, Packers, tight end, Notre Dame. 16, Joey Porter Jr., Washington Commanders. Good night. That would be a problem. 17, Brian Breeze, Clemson, Steelers. Another Clemson. 18, Miles Murphy, Lions. Man, the Lions are going to be a good football team this year. The Lions are going to be a stacked team. Okay? Andre Dillard, is he a Titan? Tone, can you double check that? He'll start there. Brian Branch, Bucks, DB, Bama. Number 20, Nolan Smith, Seattle, edge rusher, Georgia. Tone, can you check and see if Andre Dillard has just signed a contract with the Tennessee Titans? The 21st pick has been actioned because of the penalty that the Dolphins had with the whole deal last year with Brady. Osiris Torrance, 22, Chargers, O-line, Gators. 23, Jackson Smith Njaba, wide receiver, Buckeyes. Andre Dillard is now a Titan. He'll start there. He'll start there. So you lost your depth and a starting right guard. And your running back. Jack Driscoll He's now your life preserver. And Jurgens. '24, Deontay Banks, Minnesota Vikings, cornerback, Maryland. 25, Lucas Van Ness, Jacksonville Jags, edge rusher, Iowa. Number 26, Jordan Addison, Giants, wide receiver, SC. 27, Zay Flowers, Cowboys, wide receiver, Boston College. 28, Anton Harrison, OT, Oklahoma, Buffalo Bills, help for Josh Allen. 29, Darrell Wright, Bengals, OT, Tennessee Volunteers. 30, Calgic Cansey, New Orleans, DL, University of Pittsburgh. Number 31, Philadelphia Eagles, Jahmyr Gibbs, Bama, running back. And number 32, Will McDonald, Iowa State, edge rusher, Chiefs. That's my mock. Do me a favor. Hit the like button. Keep it here on the National Football Show.
When it comes to the fight against insurance companies, large corporations, and the healthcare industry, injured victims are always the underdog. But that doesn't worry us. At Messon Associates, we're an injury law firm from Philadelphia, and we come to fight. Our clients know that they've got representation with a chip on its shoulder, and it's the same chip that makes Philly the toughest city in the country. Call 215-568-3500 or visit us online at messalaw.com. Messon Associates, the toughest injury firm in Philadelphia.
Go to get your game on. Go for the beers. Go for the cheers. Go for the hit and the hits. Go for the stakes and the stakes. Go to get your parlay on. Go to get your party on. Go for the scene. Go for the screens. Go for the gallery. Go for the win. Go to Ocean. Visit theoceanac.com to plan your visit.
Hi everybody, my name's Jason Lombardi. I'm an inspector at DryTech. At DryTech we offer three major services. The first one being basement waterproofing. The second service we offer is foundation and structural repairs. And then the third service that we offer is mold remediation. If you feel you are having a waterproofing issue, give DryTech a call or check us out online.
Jeff D'Ambrosio doesn't need a special event to appreciate his customers. Jeff shows his appreciation to them every day of the year. Jeff makes sure to stock more new inventory than anyone and guarantees prices and payments that nobody can beat. There are so many reasons that thousands of customers know Jeff is the easy, friendly place to do business. More for their trades. No judgment zone for credit issues. The best, most reliable service department in the country. That's why I like Jeff, and I know you will too. Jeff will satisfy you every day. Jeff D'Ambrosio, Destination Downingtown, Owner Appreciation Event.
We all know that taxes are just part of life. It's true during our working years, but also in retirement. But what you might not know is up to 85% of your Social Security benefits might be taxed. Our team at Thrive Financial has helped retire thousands of people across the Delaware Valley by asking questions they never knew they needed to ask, including how their Social Security benefits might be taxed. It's time to be proactive on taxes. Get your Thrive Retirement Tax Playbook today.
Plan your day with confidence.
Keep the umbrellas on hand.
With Action News and AccuWeather.
Numerous tornadoes.
Your go-to team when severe weather strikes.
The water is still rising.
Keeping you prepared wherever you watch. Action News and AccuWeather, the team you trust.
for backup quarterback. Who's going to be your backup quarterback in Philly? Better have one. Because your boy will miss time. Who's going to be your backup? He's never played a full season. He's not going to start next year. Who's playing? Ian Book? I love it. Ian Book will be in the XFL. Will be in the XFL. Gardner Johnson, I'm hearing 7 different teams are interested in him. Why in the world would he sign in Philly? When he knows it's a lesser team, too. And it's a lesser unit. And how do you know he likes the new coordinator? By the way, I think it's going to be interesting to see how many defensive players actually do leave and didn't really even kind of entertain staying. What's that word they like to do? Run it back? Nobody wanted to run it back on defense? Why? Why? You know why? Every one of those mercenaries knew the quarterback was getting paid. They're getting the hell out of town. They probably told Howie, don't even put a deal on the table. You know, even TJ Edwards, his agent, probably laughed at the Eagles and went, bro, we're not, that's not going to work. We're going to go free agency. They didn't even give Philly a chance. You know why? Because Philly thought he'd come back because of whatever reason. And again, Howie was playing Moneyball. A team is a one-year wonder. I said it all year to you. Here it is. It's a one-year wonder. It's already on a Monday, March 13th, a lesser team. Wait till Wednesday happens. Now, and here's the thing. You know what's crazy? Here's what's crazy. Now you got to rely on Howie doing the one thing he can't do well, draft. He's great at deals. He's great at restructuring deals, but he can't restructure when you got a quarterback you got to pay $50 million to. See, Jalen's contract is the albatross around the franchise's neck. It's not that they're not going to pay him. That's not the point I'm making. 53 men have to be paid. And when you have 18 free agents, even Andre Dillard's a loss now because there you lose your depth. Driscoll and him. I didn't like Andre Dillard either in his shitty attitude. I'm with you. I actually like Jack Driscoll more. I call him the floating buoy. He just holds on and, it's all good. That's why it's impossible to get back to games like the Super Bowl, especially when you build your – look at the Rams. Now, here's the deal with the difference between the Rams and the Eagles. They won the Super Bowl doing this. You lost it. Look at the nightmare they're digging out of. If I'm Howie, do you know the number one asset that he has besides the fact that he doesn't have to deal with a quarterback? Do you know what it is? He's got 2 ones. I'll tell you something. I would take that 10th pick, and I might trade as many of those first-round picks as I possibly can to get multiple picks because you need multiple positions filled, especially on the – when's the last linebacker Howie Roseman has drafted that starter that was good? Can you tell me? I don't have that much time, so don't worry. We'll do it tomorrow. Name me a corner. So if I'm him, I stay in the Southeastern Conference and I get as many picks as I possibly can. Okay? Get as many picks as I can. Give me the margin of error. That's Jimmy's whole philosophy. If I got 20 picks, I'm going to land on 7 of them. Boy, I'll tell you, but at 4 o'clock Wednesday, I mean, it's going to look like the Exodus that Moses led out of Egypt. This thing's going to be crazy. Batman goes, they have the 10th pick and we're fine, even though even though 10 starters are gone. Till tomorrow. Hey, this is going to be one of the most important weeks for Howie Roseman in history. We shall see. We shall see. Xander, Big Joe, thank you. Tone, awesome updating me on what's going on. This is going to continue as we get closer to 4 o'clock and even after that. Thursday and Friday. Guys, I may not have a lot of guests this week. I just may be what's going on because, I mean, the news is going to change, right, Tone? It's going to change maybe every 20 minutes it's going to change. So till tomorrow, 3 o'clock Eastern. Do me a favor, go to the JAKIB Sports Media site. Please hit the like button. Watch it again. I thought Gary Cobb brought some great stuff. Tone, I love you. Thank you very much. We'll see you tomorrow. See you on the flip side.
When it comes to the fight against insurance companies, large corporations, and the healthcare industry, injured victims are always the underdog. But that doesn't worry us. At Messon Associates, we're an injury law firm from Philadelphia, and we come to fight. Our clients know that they've got representation with a chip on its shoulder, and it's the same chip that makes Philly the toughest city in the country. Call 215-568-3500 or visit us online at messalaw.com. Messon Associates, the toughest injury